This is FBG Jen.
And FBG Kristen.
And I'm FBG Margot, host and producer. You're listening to the podcast that will help you keep a lid on the junk in the trunk and inspire you to live a happy and confident life.
Each episode, we chat with motivational experts and celebs and share our own candid adventures in being healthy.
If you're looking for a podcast that's equal parts hilarious and enlightening, well then welcome to the Fit Bottomed Girls podcast.
Inspire yourself, inspire others, and smell great naturally with Inspire Bath deodorant sprays and lotions. We use them, we love them, and we think you will too. So just go to inspirebath.com. Welcome back to the Fit Bottomed Girls podcast. This is FBG Margot, and on the line today, we have FBG Jen.
Hello.
And we have FBG Kristen.
Hey.
And hey, you guys, we have a really cool guest. His name is T. Major. He is a trainer. He lives in Berlin. He's a new dad. He is a big fan of ours. Yay to you, T. Thank you for the shout out he gives us on this show. I told him how much I enjoyed having you on the show because also I have a cat named Tennessee and I call her T. So I say the name T all day long. So this was extra fun for me. And we were just flipping through his book. He is the author of Urban Calisthenics. It's a DK publishing book. And you guys, this man is a serious workout freak. Like, what are your favorite workouts from this? I saw the triple clap push-up and the hurricane burpee.
Like, I can barely do one. I can barely do one clap and a push-up. And then, Kristen, you were just talking about what, the crucifixion? What was it?
The crucifix push-up.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, it's arms out, like, fully out to the side.
I'm going to try it.
Fingertips,
I'm going to try it. Like,
neutral spine,
right now.
And, and you do a push-up like that. You can, if you're just not quite there, you can perform this with your hands placed flat on the ground and positioned slightly closer to your shoulders.
Oh, my God.
Did you just do it?
I just tried it.
Is it hard?
Yeah, I just tried it. It's really, really hard to stay on your fingertips. Like, and I don't know. It's really, really hard to get down low. Oh my God.
And the handstand push up, like you need a set of parallettes or bars or something so that you can do this. But I'm dying to try this once my elbow is 100% because it looks awesome.
That's fun. Handstand push-ups. I can do one of those.
Did you see the human flag? Page 114. It's also the cover.
Oh.
So he's just hanging from the bar, like parallel to the floor. And then he brings his legs, like one does. Then he brings his hands, feet apart. And then he kind of tucks his knees in. He's, like I said, parallel to the floor and tucks his knees in to work his obliques. Like this, oh my God. He's a maniac.
I wish that when I was a kid doing like gymnastics and all these things where I was, I had like really great control over my body and like getting into all these crazy positions. I wish that I had access to a gym and like somebody to take me through some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea. I'm sure I could have done some of it because I was doing all kinds of crazy stuff, but I just have no idea.
Yeah. A lot of them are very gymnastics inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Did you see the one-armed pull-up?
I did 6 of those already.
The name of the book should be more like just badass things you can do or try to do or attempt to do.
It's very inspiring, I have to say. I want to bring this with me.
And they're not all like impossible.
No.
I mean,
you could build
we're
up.
talking about some that look really, really hard, but there are a lot here that are also like either moves that you've probably done or tried or at least seen, and maybe just like some variations on those. So once you have mastered those, you can take it up a notch, which is fantastic.
Yeah, like the box jump. He really lays that out clearly, what you can do. I love this hurricane burpee. I think that's amazing. Yeah, it's an excellent book. And he's just all about old school calisthenics, right? And so I was just wondering, like, what are your favorite moves to do, old school?
I mean, my favorite, so I wrote this whole post on how I have a love-hate relationship with the burpee, but like I really do, I think, love it more than I hate it now. Just because it really is so effective. And I found that instead of in my head when I was doing burpees, instead of being like, I hate the burpee, I hate the burpee, I hate the burpee, I hate doing burpees, I switched it to be like, man, I wonder how good at these I can get if I do enough of them.
I'm the same way. I love them.
That little mental shift was like all it took. And then once I was better at them, what do you know? I liked them a little bit more.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Kristen?
I think that, I am just a really big fan of the squat and, different variations on it. And I think for me, it's because I've had some knee issues. There have been times when I haven't been able to go as far with it. And so it's a really good kind of barometer for me as to like my knee health. Because if I'm not squatting as well as I normally do, then it's sort of an indication to be like, all right, so what's up? Like, what isn't working? What is it that I need to either stretch or strengthen or show some love to or whatever? And I like right now I'm squatting lower than I have been in a while. So it feels really good. And it also I'm taking that and then looking at like, okay, so what else am I doing or what else can I do deeper or with more weight or whatever? Because if it feels good, then do it.
It's so funny in this interview, he also talks about like he cannot help himself when he's at the gym. If he sees somebody doing something incorrectly, he has to run over and tell them, look, there's a better way to do that. Why don't you try it this way? You're going to get, more bang for your buck. And I was just wondering if you guys, anybody has ever done that to you or have you ever done that in the gym? I tend to be a little shy.
Yeah. I usually think that like most people who are at the gym are you can kind of like pick up on the vibe of someone. Like, are you having a conversation with them? Are they chatty? Or if they're just like over in the corner doing their thing, kind of feels like, they're just in their corner doing their thing. Yeah, I don't think I've ever corrected someone's form at the gym per se. I've seen it. I've thought about it.
Yeah. For me, it's like if I feel like they're doing harm to themselves,
yeah,
then I feel the obligation, like your knees.
Or if it's
back.
like unsafe to someone else. I mean,
exactly.
Honestly,
yeah.
Like someone else that's around, then you can be like, oh, maybe we should,
not toss those kettlebells.
Or I think another good thing to do is see if you can kind of like make eye contact with like the front desk, or a personal trainer who works there, and then kind of
make them do it.
Try to get their attention over there. Because I feel like it's a little bit easier for someone that like actually works at the gym, than to come over and be like, hey man, like I'm a trainer and, I noticed, you want to do better here? It all kind of is in the delivery, but.
Yep. I was just going to say, I have talked to, like trainers working at the gym and been like, hey, we've got somebody over there doing, like who's going to hurt themselves. Yeah. I don't know if you guys, and I think it depends on probably the gym's policy and how they handle it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I have never, and I probably would never go up to somebody, but I'm just like, I am really not confrontational and I don't really like talking to strangers, period. So,
right.
And I honestly, I don't think I notice it very much. I don't, when I'm at the gym, I am not paying a lot of attention to other people unless they're really drawing attention to themselves with all the type stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like when people come up and talk to me, and I don't want to go and talk to them.
No, you're there to do your thing and then go.
Right.
Yeah.
I get that.
Be very friendly. Well, I'm normally kind of friendly.
You're getting there.
So if you were doing something incorrectly with incorrect form, would you want someone to tell you?
You know what? I wouldn't mind it too much. I mean, I guess it's all in the approach, right? If somebody's being condescending or like, hey, dum-dum, why are you doing it that way? That's not fun. I don't enjoy that. But if they're like, hey,
if comes up to you and says, hey, dum-dum, you're going to have a problem.
I would have a problem with that. But if they're just like, hey, I don't know, it's making me a little uncomfortable because I'm wondering, do you feel that in your knees? Do you feel that in your back? Maybe you want to think this, and that. Like, oh, okay, that's nice. But it's all in the approach, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's a part of me that would appreciate the effort, and like the thought behind it. But like, no, I still don't want a stranger coming up and correcting me. Like if it's somebody who I know, or, like you have your quote unquote gym friends who like you see at the gym because you're at the gym at the same time on the same days. And like, you don't know each other. You don't know each other's names, but like, you recognize each other if you would recognize one another if you saw each other outside the gym.
Yeah.
So there's like this a little bit of a relationship. And I feel like in that case, if like maybe if you've got a feel for them, like I wouldn't be totally taken aback if they were like, hey, I've noticed that you're doing it this way. I wonder if you've ever tried it this way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think I'd get some real attitude if someone I had literally never interacted with came over and told me how to do my business. But then again, I don't know. I guess if it was somebody really nice and super knowledgeable and, you know, like I'm looking at the stuff that T's got in his book and I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, I guess if this guy who's showing me how to do a, you know, crucifix push-up, like some tips, maybe I should listen.
The guy that can do a tuck human flag, you know, and barely break a sweat. Like, he probably knows what he's talking about. I'm at least going to listen.
Another question.
Mm-hmm.
What? If you guys saw somebody doing something like that at the gym and you were like, man, that's dope, would you go and ask them about it and be like, hey, how did you build up to that?
I would in a second.
I would too. I'd be like, that is badass.
Yeah.
But I'm also the person that like literally, so there's a trail by my house that I run on. And so often if I like don't hold myself back, I will like try to high five people as I run past them.
Aww.
Or as they run past me. Like it happens to me all the time, and I've done it because I think so the gym I go to almost always, if we're at the Fit Pit, if we're like out running like outside of the gym, we're always like good job, like almost every single time I pass someone. So it's just it's this habit that I have. And so when I'm out away from, you know, the gym and I'm just out in everyday life and I see someone running, I'm like, good job, high five.
That's awesome though.
People respond pretty well to it if I do it, you know, but it's kind of embarrassing. Because some people are just like, why are you talking to me? Why are you touching me? You know,
that's hilarious.
Why are you putting your hand up?
I would be so confused if somebody tried to high five me.
Yeah, like, do we know each other? Like, you can always tell, like, it's that. And then I'll just be like, oh, God, I'm just too pumped up to see you run. So great.
I don't recognize people anyway. So it would be, I would be real confused. I would spend the entire day trying to figure out how I knew you.
You know.
Yeah.
And then if you saw me enough times, you'd be like, oh, that's just that weirdo. So I was like, high five. I don't know.
Hi, weird runner girl. How are you?
What's up? I'm happy.
So let's leave this to the audience. You guys, what do you think about that? Would if somebody just randomly, you're running outside and somebody randomly just gave you a high five as they were running by, what would you think? Would you accept it? Would you think it's weird? Let us know on Facebook, Twitter, at FitBottomGirl. You can send us an email, podcast@fitbottomgirls.com. And please, guys, if you like the show, remember to subscribe. And if you leave a 5-star review in Apple Podcasts, we will read it on the air. How great would that be?
So cool.
Right? All right. So let's get into our interview today. It's with T Major. And once again, his book is called Urban Calisthenics. Here we go. Remember, this show is sponsored by our fave all-natural deodorant line, Inspire Bath. In fact, for every bottle you purchase, they donate one to help build and empower women and girls at shelters and interim homes. Get yours and help give back at inspirebath.com. T Major is a fitness coach and elite-level athlete whose focus is building power and strength with minimal equipment and no machines. He's built his reputation training active duty service personnel from all major branches of the U.S. military, as well as professional athletes, Olympians, and everyday people from all walks of life. He has a Facebook audience of over 360,000 followers and can be found performing 19 different push-up variations on his YouTube channel, where he has over 15 million views. Originally born out of necessity, the calisthenics movement requires no more than a willing body and mind and an environment to serve as its jungle gym. In Urban Calisthenics, novices are expertly guided through nearly 70 body weight exercises and 10 precision routines that focus on whole body strengthening and conditioning by author and elite level athlete T. Welcome to the show, T.
Hello.
Hello to you. This is FBG Margot, and on the line today we have FBG Jen.
Hello.
And T, I had to have you on the show. I told them we had to have you on the show because I have a cat named Tennessee, and all day long I say T out loud.
Yeah, cool.
So I'm used to saying that name out loud. So anyway, thank you so much for being on the show today. And just please give us a bit of your background and what inspired you to create your book, Urban Calisthenics.
First of all, I bet you that's the most badass cat that ever existed.
She
on the
certainly
planet
is.
Earth. Yeah, so new book out. I appreciate you ladies giving me the opportunity to come on and talk about it. I'm really excited about it. This is my first book, not my first fitness project, but my first book. And this is just a huge milestone. It's something that I always wanted to do. So it's a check off the bucket list. But also what encouraged me to do the project is it's something that I've focused on for a while, which is calisthenics. I trained military for several years overseas, and hopefully a lot of your readers know, or maybe a lot of your readers who are military men and women understand that calisthenics is the bodyweight training system that they have to practice in order to not just get allowed into the military through boot camp, but also to stay in the military. They have to pass several push-ups, sit-ups. The Marines have to do pull-ups. These are all calisthenics to give you basic examples of what that is. My book is a little bit more advanced. It's for the individual who is into fitness already, currently on their fitness journey, that wants to take it to a different direction. And of course, I'm a firm believer that calisthenics can help you reach some of those additional goals, some of those higher level goals that you're looking for. So basically, in a nutshell, I took the basic form of calisthenics that I was using to get military in shape, and I took it to the next level and wrote this book, which is Urban Calisthenics.
Okay. And about this next level, I would love to know, like, if you could maybe just to give our listeners an idea of what are some of the, and I know it might be kind of hard to explain without being able to see them, but what are some of these creative moves that you've come up with? And then how the heck, like, does inspiration just strike you from somewhere where you're like, let's try this? Or like, how did you come up with them?
Yeah, you know what? I've been training for a long time, and I don't want to date myself and give my age, but I played 5 sports in high school, and I've been fortunate to have really great coaches and mentors, but also strength and conditioning coaches at a pretty early age. My high school was a 5A school, which is we had 3,000 more kids, which typically you get a bit more money to bring in some top level coaches. So some of these guys were really, really knowledgeable, and they really spread the knowledge, and it's something that I always gravitated towards. I didn't just enjoy the sport. I also enjoyed, the training and the preparation for the sport. So I took everything that I learned over time and kind of made this crazy concoction of a soup of a fitness product, which is T Major Fitness, and the next level stuff that I talk about is just iterations of some of those movements in conjunction with calisthenics. So, for example, in the book, I would use, give me 1 second, I'm going to pick a good one that maybe your audience would be able to use. So one of these next level movements that I referred to would be like a Nordic hamstring curl. This is pretty much one of the only bodyweight ways you can work your hamstrings directly. You perform this movement by having somebody hold your heels while you're on your knees, and you basically use just your upper body momentum and body weight to lower yourself slowly down to the ground. Use your hands to brace your fall, and then use your arms to push back up off the ground ever so slightly, and using mostly your hamstrings to curl your body weight back up. So can you picture that in your mind?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. This is called a Nordic hamstring curl, but this is nothing new, right? I didn't reinvent the wheel. This is something that we would do in order to strengthen our hamstrings because it prevents knee injuries in sport. But it's also a badass calisthenics movement that a lot of people don't really know or aren't really trying to achieve if you're just like, even if you're just in the military, right, and trying to pass your PT exam, or if you're just trying to do jumping jacks and push-ups and just kind of do a normal calisthenics routine. So this is like the next level that I'm talking about. It's movements that you may not be too familiar with that'll help take your body weight training to the next level.
So you are a big fan of body weight exercises, and so am I. What are your favorite moves to get strong and get your heart rate up? Do you have any few more moves that you're really a big fan of?
Yeah. I love anything that gets your ass down on the ground and makes you get back up. I find that this really raises the heart rate fastest. So of course the burpee, everybody knows it's so I think I have 30 iterations of the burpee. Single arm burpee, I do a single leg burpee, I do a burpee where when I'm down on the ground I do a clapping push up. I have hurricane burpees where I do a jumping jack in between instead of just a jump. So I mean, my absolute favorite, one of my favorite movements is the burpee for cardio conditioning and for fat burn for sure.
On the flip side of that question, are there any bodyweight moves that you see people do and you're just like, oh man, they're always doing it wrong? Like you just see people really doing it with incorrect form?
You know what? I'll answer this with two movements. The first, most basic one is the push-up. I see a lot of people doing push-ups wrong. And I mean, you can still benefit from doing a push-up incorrectly because it's still using your body weight, as resistance. But I see a lot of people with the elbows out too far, which places so much strain on the shoulders, which doesn't really directly impact the chest and the triceps and the back and the lats, and it doesn't engage the core or the glutes or the quads. And all of this should happen, right? Like most people don't understand that a push-up is actually a moving plank, So your entire body should be rigid from your shoulders to your hips to your ankles. Everything should be straight, but I see a lot of sagging asses. I see a lot of elbows popping out, and it just prevents progress. It just prevents you from taking your strength from A to Z. The second one would be the burpee, because part of that is also the push-up. So what I see is when people try to take their push-up to the next level by doing a burpee is they jump up in the air, they got that part down, but then when they get down on the ground, their push-up is really sloppy, it's too fast, it's not controlled, and their back is sagging, and then there's all this force because they just jumped up and they're trying to slam their body down to the ground, and it's just like, oh, come on. Ouch. Really, it's just pain and aggravation and time out of training that's waiting to happen. I'm that guy in the gym though that will just kind of bump over and be like, man, I love burpees too. Can I show you how I do them?
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I know. I get a lot of haters, but I also hope to help somebody out.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't know unless you know.
Exactly. That's the thing, and I take that chance run the risk of losing a potential friend or just somebody in the gym who tries to avoid me to maybe save some lower lumbars,
Well, let's go into that a little bit more, because I'd love to also talk about big exercise myths and nutrition myths that you'd like to dispel here as well.
Yeah, sure. I think the biggest one is that you need, a ton of protein through meat sources in order to gain muscle. This is not necessarily true. This is a huge myth. I mean, there's a lot of vegan athletes out there. You can just pull up on Instagram and that can debunk that myth very quickly. But yeah, we're progressing a lot through nutrition and science and understanding the dynamic and the correlation between the food that you eat and how your body actually responds to it, particularly with the way it looks. And yeah, you know what? I think to sum it up, basically, you don't really have to count macros or be so specific with your portions as they say you do. You really just have to eat smart. Eat more vegetables than you eat meat. Cut back on the sugar. Don't put any crap in your body, and I think you can pretty much reach your goals in terms of how you want to look. It's pretty simple.
So on your website, I was on there perusing, and you have what I thought was really cool, a large section that's dedicated to your fitness and your training philosophy. And it's really beautiful. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Cool. Thank you very much. By the way, I checked out your website too. And I'm a fan.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Such a great stuff. Yeah, you guys have the content game really
that's our jam, man. That's what we do.
You're really, and I love the way that it's segmented with the icons and everything. Fitness Mamas Eats In. It's so clear for people when they land on your site, like where to get their information. And then when they get there, you guys really have great content. I was like, wow, these girls know what they're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm a new fan. I'm going to subscribe. I'm going to jump on the RSS feed. I'm going to get my wife on the mamas section. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, really, really nice work. Yeah. So my philosophy and mission. So I also started my company in 2000. You guys started in 2008, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So 2008, I decided I wanted to leave corporate America and start doing fitness full time and professionally. I started by training in small studios. I trained in Globo gyms, and then I moved to doing outdoor boot camps for my own business. But realistically, I can't say I was a good trainer at the time. I was still trying to find my niche and still trying to figure out what my jam was, like you say. And it wasn't until I started training military that I think, gave it some deep thought into how I want to brand myself, B, what type of trainer I wanted to be, C, the type of message I wanted to get out there to the world, and D, like ultimately what I wanted to really devote my training to. Because everything else that I've ever been invested in, I had to have a real mission. I had to have a real way that I was going to do my work. And so when it came to fitness, it took me a while to figure it out, but I started doing a bit of reading. I've always been interested in Asian philosophy, Buddhism, and then I came across the Kaizen philosophy, which is basically Six Sigma in the States. We use a lot of the case in business. And it's a streamlined way of systemizing a process. So Kaizen comes from Toyota, and this was their process of building vehicles. They would start with they would start with one task, perfect it before they moved on to the next. And Kaizen means continuous improvement. So it wasn't just that, like the guy that put on the wheel, his job, his mission, his whole philosophy was, you're going to put on this wheel, but you're also going to try to find a way to put on the wheel better, faster, with more efficiency, before we move you on to a different job task and we cross-train you, right? So I started thinking about this, and I said, it makes a lot of sense. And so I adapted it, and I adopted it for fitness. When I teach people, or when I break down a movement, I break it down in this way, right? I say, like, this is what your ankles have to do in a squat. And if your ankles don't do this movement or can't perform this movement, then it doesn't matter what your knees do. Does that make sense? Right? So it doesn't matter that your knees are collapsing, because we still haven't got, proper movement in your ankles. So we work on the ankles, get them moving properly. Then we move to the knees. Then we move to the hips. Then we work on activating the glutes. Then we make sure that the core is engaged, and then we have a perfect squat. Then when we have a perfect squat, we can work on loading the squat. We work on loading the squat. Then we can work on compound movements, power cleans, deadlifts, and some of these things. So everything is connected. Everything is continuously improving, and everything ultimately is the goal of eliminating wasteful movements and getting people to their goal in the fastest, most efficient way, without injuries and without wasting a lot of time.
Well, this is the point where I love having this podcast, because I get to be greedy and ask a question for me. And
sure.
You were just mentioning ankles, and funnily enough, I have an ankle injury right now. And
sorry to hear that.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas for upper body exercises that I should focus on, or anything I should focus on with my leg I can do, since I can't put any weight on it right now? What do you suggest when you're dealing with an injury?
Sure. Yeah, sure. What exactly is your injury? Did you twist it?
I have a fractured ankle.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Is it booted up?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. It's really tough, because anytime you do any dorsiflex or any kind of thing, it takes a lot of movements out, right?
Right.
You don't notice until you don't have your ankle how much you are limited.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's tough, right? When you have an injury, you can't really advise somebody to do anything active, because you run the risk of re-aggravating the injury.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of tools and equipment out there that you still can do. I mean, it also depends on your goal. Do you want to maintain some strength? Are you, if you're looking to lose fat, then this is really tough.
No. I want to just maintain my strength.
Yeah. So without movements and stuff. Yeah. Do you do any band work?
Yes. I was just going to say weights or bands. I do have bands.
Yeah. It's great. I mean, there's yeah, I mean, there's definitely some dumbbell stuff you can do, of course, but I think, yeah, using your injury maybe as an opportunity to revisit the bands and all the different exercise variations you can do with that. You can do it at home. That's maybe a challenge for you.
No, that's good. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
It's all in the reframing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all about reframing. So I know before we got on, we were talking a little bit about your daughter and how you just had a baby girl. You had her this spring, is that right?
I did, yeah. March 21st. She's first day of spring, baby.
Aww.
So I know, we always ask this of like new moms, but as a new dad, how has it changed you? How has it changed your workouts? Has it changed your fitness philosophy? How has it changed your business? What's it been like?
Wow, yeah, that's a cool, yeah, it's a big one, but it's also a great question, because I've had to reflect on this quite a bit. I've had to think a lot about this and also trying to navigate those waters at the same time, and when you're in a relationship, that's the tough part, because in the beginning, my wife is still breastfeeding, and we were breastfeeding on exclusively. So I think she took really, she took most of the burden, a heavy burden with having to constantly be there. Anytime she's upset, we're trying to go down the laundry list of things to figure out why she's upset. Did she poop on herself? Okay, no, that's not it. All right, is she tired? No, she just woke up from a nap. Okay, maybe she's hungry. Okay, she's not hungry. Maybe she pooped on herself. You go back to the top of the list, right? Oh, yeah, she pooped on herself. So in the beginning, really, it was really tough for her. So my workouts and everything didn't really change. I'm still going early in the morning. I was still hitting it, coming back, taking the baby for a little bit while she did some of the things she wants to do. So it was all about balance and just trying to work with each other. So my routine, really, I'm very fortunate that it didn't really change that much. But we just had a conversation today because she's now feeling like she's ready to start ramping her routines back up. And she's a yogi and a life coach, but she practices a lot of yoga. She also strength trains, but she wants to get back into yoga and a lot more, 3 to 5 times a week. So things are about to change again. But I think that the hardest thing is just sitting down and having that conversation with your partner and saying, all right, how are you feeling? How are you managing with all the pressures of the child and all the pressures of day-to-day life? And is it okay? And as a man, as a husband, I have to be willing to shift my schedule and my routine around. I need to be willing to also maybe not have a routine, Yeah,
right.
To say, hey, for a bit, you know what? I'm going to tap out from the gym for a bit. You go. You handle what you need to do, because I'm a firm believer in happy wife, happy life. Really, if she's not happy, then my life is really miserable. Not because she makes it miserable. I shouldn't say it like that.
No, we get it.
Yeah, because I really care about her, and if she's not happy, then it messes with my psyche as well. So yeah, I think that's the hardest part for dads. Maybe is realizing that things aren't going to be the same for you, and being okay with that, and being able to kind of shift focus for a bit, but being prepared for that. I'm fortunate because I'm a coach, so I know. All right, I missed my leg day on a Monday, so now I have 4 days a week, and I just boom in my head really quick. All right, I'm going to do a total body day this day, and then I'm gonna, if I get to the gym on Thursday, then I can do this, and it's really it's not hard for me anymore because I've been doing it for so long. But this really, you guys are inspiring me. I think I need to make a program, something exactly for this, for dads to. I'm going to call it Happy Wife, Happy Life workout, right? I'm just going to, and this is for men to be able to shift their workouts and focus around to keep their wives happy and sane in their relationships.
Well, I love that. I think that flexibility and new parenting, that mindset of being flexible and checking in and knowing that things aren't static is a really helpful, really good tip.
Yeah. You have a 3.5-year-old, right? How did you guys do it? You have many more years under the belt than I do.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Pretty much because I exclusively breastfed for a year, just about.
Oh, amazing. You made it a year?
Yeah, I made it a year.
Okay.
Just have some
great.
solids. We introduced some solids
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 months or something. But yeah, I breastfed
Yeah,
for a
that's
year.
what we're doing now. Yeah, we're just introducing solids now, between
Yeah.
5 and 6 months. Yeah, it's great. But we hope to breastfeed also for a year.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so you
so-
just have to go and not really have any expectations. Just kind of see where it goes and flow. And
That's
yeah.
it. That's it. Just kind of fit it in where it gets in and be open to not having things the way they were, because they're not.
Yeah.
They're just not the way they were.
Nope.
And, you have to accept that. You have to be ready for the challenge of having a big added dynamic to your routine. And yeah, that's it. But you know what, though? We have great resources like your website where people can work out at home, like my website where they even can work out at home. So you know what, like the biggest thing I can say now is that I didn't truly understand how much of a time challenge it was for people that had kids. And I sold a lot of programs, right, to that stay-at-home mom, that stay-at-home dad, that working dad and working mom that were just trying to find a way to fit in that workout at home. But you don't really understand it until you're in the middle of it, right? And you're like, wow, yeah, you're lucky if you get those 15 minutes that the baby is sleeping. But you thought you were going to get a 15-minute nap, but it was a 7-minute nap.
Right.
You know?
And then we're trying to wait, I just tried to do 4 dishes. Like,
yeah.
my house is trashed.
Yeah,
and I will say that once I started working out again after having my daughter, I was those workouts meant more to me. They were so healing because they were kind of like the only thing in my life that was about me for like just that short amount of time. And that was really for myself.
Yeah.
So,
Now you're talking. Like, I think this is something we really agree upon is that workouts, and this is probably why you do what you do and why I do what I do, because it is about that self-love, right? It is about that time where you really get to give back to yourself. You're giving. Your job demands of you. You give to your job. You get home. You give to your spouse. You give to your friends when they need you. And then, like, who's going to fill your cup up again, you know? And you have to take responsibility, and you have to do that for yourself, right? Yep. So I get you when you say that you feel so re-energized. My wife went to yoga today, and she came back and was like, I feel so great. I'm like, yes. Yes.
I also had the really strong experience that, in addition to feeling like this is my time, but I was also like, you know what? Burpees? Bring it, burpees. I'll do burpees all day long. Like, do you know what I've done all day? You know, like I gave birth, I did this, I feed my kid, like bring it. It was almost like the series of like, I can do anything I put my mind to. This is nothing.
So you had this whole like cosmic shift of like consciousness, huh? You felt like a totally different new person, ready for new challenges. That's amazing, man. How many people can go through that? That's an amazing transformation. That's crazy.
It sounds like you guys are doing great.
Yeah, you know what? It's communication, of course. I know it sounds cliche, but really, we've always been great with communicating with each other. And we can sit down with each other and look each other in the eyes and be like, "Yo, I've had too much. I need a yoga session." And you're like, "Okay, cool." Or like, "Hey, I need to go to the gym." Yeah, okay, I got you. It's about having each other's backs no matter what. And that's why we chose each other. That's why we're married. That's why we decided to bring a child into the world, because we know we can depend on each other, and that's what it's about.
Well, I was looking at your website, and we were just talking about fitting in workouts when everything in your life all of a sudden just shifts. You know, this is your new normal. You have a kid now. That's what it is. You had some advice on there about how to find time to work out. Can you give our readers just a few suggestions and tips on how they can find time?
Yeah. First of all, you know, I probably should change the title and the wording in that, because it's not just about finding time. It's about making time. You know, a lot of the time first of all, it's, back to the Kaizen philosophy, it's about eliminating waste. Most of the time, you're not filling all of your time. So it's about finding how you are wasting your time, or your time sucks, and then eliminating that, right? It's the 10 less minutes on Facebook. It's 10 less minutes of diddly-dallying around in the restroom. It's that hitting snooze on the alarm clock those 2 times, and then all of a sudden there's your 30-minute workout right there. So that's number one, But if you really do have a full schedule and you really can't, like, you just don't see it. You're like, okay, I get up, I'm out the door, I'm to work 9 to 5. I come home, I make dinner. After dinner, I play for an hour with the baby, then boom, put her to bed, and then bam, it's already 9 o'clock at night, and I'm completely exhausted. For those people, it's about giving something up. It's about making time for what's important. It's about reprioritizing things. It's if fitness is a big priority for you, then you have to make it a priority and put it, and move it around a bit. And that's just the reality of it. There's only so many hours in the day, and that's the only solution that I have found, is just making a priority for it and making sure that you fit it in and making sure that you stick to it if you decide that it's something that's important to you that you have to do.
Yeah, to that point, I always say, like, no one sits around and we're like, man, I can't find the time to binge watch my favorite shows.
Right.
Like, we don't, like,
You
we're like,
find
we
it.
all have time for that stuff, So it's like, pick something you like to do. It's easier to do than, yeah. But look at I like the wasted time stuff. That's really good. Switching gears a little bit, I was reading through your bio, and you have done a lot of modeling. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for some really big brands. So we have talked to a lot of different, female models, kind of about the pressures of, looking a certain way, and how, it can be really easy to kind of get trapped up and to think that all of your worth is based on your appearance. Sure. So I wanted to get your take and have you share some of your experience with the male modeling world, if you've experienced that. What's like to do that? Yeah.
So, first of all, I was also very fortunate because my look is not your typical like runway look. I'm not going to be a Calvin Klein, Dolce and Gabbana, Louis Vuitton model. That's just not my jam. I'm a fitness model, so I was very fortunate to work for like Reebok, Nike, Adidas, these brands. So there wasn't any. The only pressure was, hey, you need to make sure that you're in shape for this, because we're looking for somebody that's in shape to model fitness clothes. And I was training pretty heavily and training others pretty heavily. So really, it was a pretty seamless transition for me. It was like kind of a no-brainer to put my face out there and put my name out there as an opportunity to make some additional income. But I was also very fortunate to find the most amazing people to work with. Really, like in that side of the industry, modeling for fitness brands, you meet a lot of people that are like into fitness or into the brands they represent. Like the people I worked with at Puma, Dana Klein, she was so cool. She was a CrossFitter. She was really into athletes, and yeah, it was really great to work with her. Reebok, really great to work with those people. Kim Kennedy is the first photographer I worked with. Rest in peace. He passed away from cancer a while ago. When I walked into the room, he was like, "Well, what's up, my brother?" I was like, "What's up, man?" And we just totally vibe. He's like, "Man, try on this football stuff, man. You play football?" I was like, "Yeah, I play football." He was like, "Cool. You're perfect." Boom, boom, boom. And it was pretty easy like that. So yeah, enough about, talking about how fortunate I was, but the women that I also worked with, I feel like they were very fortunate too, because they were into fitness. They were very fit individuals. And this was just kind of for them also they didn't have the stress of having to be razor thin or fit into the clothing, that like maybe they weren't supposed to be fitting into, you know what I mean? It wasn't anything like that. But you'd also have to ask them, because maybe they have a different perspective on it. But the women that I had the opportunity to model with, they seemed pretty stoked about being a fitness model and working for the companies that we worked for.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
So you live in Berlin now, correct?
I do.
So please tell us what that is like. And my follow-up to that is, I hear that German bread is amazing. So
God.
Tell me all about it, please.
You have no idea, really. Okay, so being in Berlin. So I've been coming back and forth to Berlin with my wife for years. We met in Thailand, but she was based in Berlin and I was based in I think San Francisco at the time. So we did the back and forth for that, for that amount of time. I would come for 6 weeks. She would come over for 4 weeks. And then I moved to San Diego. We did the same thing. And then I moved to LA and we did the same thing until we reached the point where we were like, listen, one of us has to move, and she decided to bounce over and stay with me. And so after that year, we decided to relocate to Berlin because we wanted to start a family. And Berlin is experiencing a baby boom right now. There's so many people having families because it's a really great place to have kids. There's kitas, they call them kitas, which are little preschools and kindergartens everywhere, really. And the schools are so great. I mean, like what you would get at a private school in the States, you get here at a basic kita, really, in terms of education, in terms of lesson plans, in terms of what they provide for the kids. There's a school right around the corner that has a Kinderbahnhof, which is a kinder barn. There's donkeys and pigs and goats, and they grow vegetables and they play with the animals every day of the week.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Can I go?
Yeah, you can go. I wanted to go to that. I want to start over. And I want to go to this school. Really, it's just amazing. It's just a really great place to raise a family, and it's a super interesting city. It's the greenest city in all of Europe. So there's trees and parks everywhere, really, and there's trees, just lining major streets and intersections. There's trees in front of most residences and buildings here. There's amazing food scene there. It's a huge metro. So there's people you walk down the street, you hear Italians, you hear French, you hear Arabic, you hear Turkish, you hear a lot of English, and it's everywhere you look, it's something interesting for the eyes too. There's graffiti everywhere and art everywhere. It's just a really interesting, dynamic city. It's one of the fastest growing cities in the entire world as well. There's a lot of people moving here. It's an interesting place. And the bread. Yes, the bread is absolutely phenomenal. German bread, there's nothing like it.
That's what I heard. I heard it's just to die for.
Yeah, the bread from the south of Germany, like near Munich, is the one that everybody talks about, But of course, in Berlin, you can get this bread everywhere too. And yeah, we have plenty of bread. Like guys, for the audience and for you guys, I'm sure carbs are not the enemy. Really.
Right.
Especially if you get a really nice German bread. These are made with spelt and with buckwheat and with all these great nutritious wheats that you can have. Really dense, dark, nutritious bread with butter. Yeah, I have nice saturated fatty butter on top of the bread roll too. Mm. Yeah. Bread is a big part of German life, so I eat bread pretty regularly, and yeah, I'm holding it together.
I'm so hungry now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So
you guys gotta come visit, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Open door policy, really. You guys are new friends, and open door policy.
Thank you.
We'll just move in, and then my daughter can go to school there. That sounds great.
Where you guys? You guys are in Brooklyn?
No, I'm in Brooklyn. Jen's in Kansas City.
Yep.
Well, both cool cities. I've been to both, obviously. So yeah, maybe we just swap locations.
I'd love that.
We can do.
Yeah, you'd have to take care of my cat T.
Well, it's like the holiday.
Me and T. Do you have a leash? Can I walk T around the block?
You could try. She's an 18-pound mean cat, but you could try.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll just wrap her in my little wrap like I wrap Liv in around my chest. That'd be cute.
That'd be awesome.
That's an Instagram moment if I ever heard of one. Yeah.
So besides swapping houses with Margot and I, what is next for you?
Yeah, just promoting this book. Really, it's the book promotions are going great. I'm also working on a new website I'm super excited about. So my website, you guys, I can talk web stuff with you guys because you know what's up. You guys got your content game popping. My previous website, or my website now as it currently exists, is, I sell basically one-off programs, right? You buy a 90-day program and you take all the video and the PDF and the footage and stuff with you. But I decided that And from feedback from a lot of my training partners, they want a much more engaged, dynamic experience, right? So I am taking my website to more of a lesson plan course type of subscription-based model. So you will go into the website. There's an entire community. You choose which program you want to take, and then it takes you from each workout to workout with very detailed explanation, and it's all digital, right? It's all through the website. So no more downloading anything. You just tap in, you log in, it takes you directly to your workout of the day. You check the videos off really quickly. You have all your questions and your comments and everything are below. So it's cool. And then you can reach me directly also through the website and ask me any questions, or you can access the forums. There's going to be many more programs. I'm expanding the breadth and depth of what I'm offering. One of them being an advanced calisthenics program to go in conjunction with Urban Calisthenics with what, for the people that buy that program. So it's a huge project for me. I'm doing it all myself. It's a passion project of mine. It's something that I enjoy doing, web development and content creation. So I'm doing everything top to bottom, and I can't wait for it to come out. The goal is to launch that in September. And yeah, I'm super pumped about it.
So once again, the book is called Urban Calisthenics, and it's from DK Publishing. And DK Publishing, they make the most beautiful books ever. I just love their books. Can you tell us
Those guys are so great.
They're amazing. Yeah. Can you tell our audience where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm T Major Fitness on all of my handles except for Twitter and for Instagram. I have 2 Instagram accounts, T Major Fitness and T Major, so you can find me through either one. T Major Fitness on YouTube, T Major Fitness on Facebook.
Excellent. We have one more question before we let you go.
Okay, hopefully it's a good one.
Here it comes. We ask this of everybody that appears in the show. All right, T Major, what was the last song you listened to before you did this podcast interview?
Oh, that's a great one. Hold on, I'm on my computer. I'll pull this up.
Good.
I use Spotify. Do you guys use Spotify?
We're on Spotify, by the way. Our podcast is on Spotify.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Do you guys also make music playlists?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Like every month we have like new tracks and stuff we love.
I am going to follow you girls.
Please.
For sure.
It's kind of hard to find users on Spotify. That's the only thing I got to complain about.
It is. You know what it is? It really is.
I think we're named FBG Spotify. If anyone listening would like to follow us, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah, I will. So I found my song. It was Triumph by the Wu-Tang Clan. Do you know this song?
Oh, wow. I haven't heard that in years.
That's
awesome.
I
know. It's on my workout playlist, which is called Turn the Fuck Up. And Triumph by Wu-Tang Clan. It's one of my go-tos. I know every word, and it still gets my blood boiling.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. Really, I'm beyond happy to be talking to you girls. So this is very cool.
Love this show? Tell us why in a 5-star review on iTunes, and we'll read it on the air. Also, make sure you are a subscriber. If you want to reach out to say hi or have a question about a recent episode, well, feel free to email us at podcast@fitbottomgirls.com. And if this podcast jives perfectly with your brand, consider sponsoring the show. Get more info by emailing advertising@fitbottomgirls.com. Find all kinds of Fit Bottom goodness online and on social media at Fit Bottom Girls, Fit Bottom Mamas, Fit Bottom Eats, and Fit Bottom Zen. And if books and movies are your thing, check out the other podcast I co-host called Book versus Movie, which you can find anywhere where you search for podcasts. Thanks for listening.